Okay guys, so in this video I'm going to show you factoring by a difference of two squares. Again, quadratics. I'm pretty sure this is 14. Somehow I'm off my numbering, but I think it's 14. So here's the front of the note card. Here is the back of the note card. Go ahead and copy this down, and then I'm going to show you a couple of examples of how to do DO2S. Okay guys, so in this part of the video I'm going to show you how to factor by DO2S. So factoring by DO2S, difference of two squares. Now, in our first example, we have x squared minus 4. Now, you have to look for a couple of things. Number one, you got to have two terms. Quadratic is not always required. And you're going to see an example of what I mean by that in just a second when it's not a quadratic. But it's got to be a perfect square. Now, on the back of the note card, I gave you some things that are perfect squares. And x squared is definitely perfect because the square root of this is just x. And 4, if you disregard the negative sign, the square root of 4 is a perfect square. And to make this a difference of two squares, you got to have a minus sign. So I've got three parts. I've got a difference with the minus sign, and my two terms are two squares. If that's the case, since this is a DO2S, then I know that I can break it down into two parentheses. And one will be a plus, one will be a minus. It does not matter where you put the plus and minus. Now, what I want to do is the very first part here that you have, this x squared, this first term, when you take the square root, it's going to go in the front. So I'm going to put that result here. Well, the square root of x squared is nothing more than x. So I put an x first. Then I turn around and look at the last number. In this case, it's a 4. Now, disregard the negative sign. I'm just looking at the number. And I take the square root of 4, and I'm going to put that value second. Well, the square root of 4 is nothing more than 2. So my answer to this is just simply x plus 2, x minus 2, and I have factored the problem out. Now, you should go through and just multiply this out just so that you can see that it's x squared minus 4. All right, example number 2. This time I still have two terms, and I notice now I got a number in front, which is okay. I got a minus sign, I'm good, so I know 9's a perfect square. I know 4 is perfect, and I know x squared is perfect, so therefore let's go ahead and jump right into it. This time I'm going to put the minus first just to be different from above and put the plus second. Well, the square root of 9 I know is going to be 3, so I stick that in the very last part. And then I look at this, 4x squared, and I think to myself, well, what in the world is the square root of 4x squared? Well, that's nothing more than 2x here and 2x there. And notice, my parentheses are the exact same, except this 3 is really big compared to that one, but that's okay. So I got the exact same parentheses like I did for this one up top here, but notice my signs are alternating. All right, last example. It looks like this. So now I'm giving you something that's not really a quadratic, but let's see how if this still applies. So last example, I get two parentheses, and I know that one's going to be a plus, one's going to be a minus. However, I want you to tell me what goes in front of the plus sign, in front of the minus sign, and what goes last in the parentheses. That's what I want you to figure out. See you in class tomorrow.